The sky was a canvas of fire and smoke as artillery lit up the horizon. The ground trembled beneath Elias's boots as he sprinted across the scorched battlefield, his rifle slung across his back, a whisper of a promise echoing in his ears. "Come back to me." He had made that promise to her, Layla, a nurse stationed at the field hospital behind enemy lines. She wasn't supposed to be there, but Layla never did what she was told, not when lives were at stake, not when he was among them. Their love had bloomed in whispers between explosions, in hurried letters slipped into hands when no one was watching. Elias, a decorated special ops soldier with a past shrouded in secrets, and Layla, the daughter of a rebel leader, whose compassion could silence a storm. They met when he was wounded during a covert mission, and she saved his life. That night, under the shattered remains of a cathedral, he told her things he never told anyone. She kissed the scars on his chest, and he memorized the curve of her smile like it was the only truth left in a world gone mad. But the enemy had found out who she was. Now Elias was breaking orders, crossing borders, and risking a court-martial, or worse, to find her. Rumors said the enemy had taken her hostage, that she was being held in a fortress near the northern cliffs, a place no soldier returned from. But Elias had faced death 100 times. This time, it was personal. Through the jungle, through ambushes and snipers, he pressed on. Every heartbeat was a drumbeat of desperation. He reached the edge of the enemy territory, mud splattered across his face, breath ragged. From his perch in the trees, he saw it, the fortress. It rose like a beast carved into the mountain, lit with searchlights, crawling with guards. And then he saw her, on the balcony, alive. Tears sprang to his eyes. Layla. But before he could move, a sharp crack rang out. A bullet grazed his arm. They'd spotted him. The searing pain in Elias's arm barely registered. His eyes were locked on Layla, her hair catching the moonlight like a halo, her expression unreadable. He ducked behind a fallen tree as gunfire erupted around him, dirt spitting into the air like angry bees. His cover wouldn't last long. He tapped the comms device in his ear. Static. Dead. Of course it is. This mission was solo from the start, unauthorized, unsanctioned, suicidal. But love doesn't care about protocol. He rolled, fired back, and disappeared into the underbrush. He couldn't take the main gate. He needed a way inside without triggering a full-blown firefight. That's when he remembered the old intelligence file, a drainage tunnel that ran beneath the fortress, long forgotten except by those who looked hard enough. He circled wide, found the tunnel, and descended into darkness. Meanwhile, inside the fortress, Layla stared out into the night, her hands bound, a bruise forming on her cheekbone. She'd seen the flash of movement in the trees. Elias. She knew that silhouette, that madness, that fire. He had come for her, against all odds. But she wasn't the same woman he remembered. "Your soldier lover is coming," said a voice behind her. General Kazarov, the sadistic mind behind the enemy's operations, stepped into view. His smile was cold. "He'll die here, you know." Layla didn't flinch. He survived worse. Kazarov leaned closer. "Let him come. I want him to watch as you choose." Choose. Kazarov pulled back a curtain, revealing a screen with a live feed. 2 chambers, each holding someone important to Layla, her younger brother, barely 16, and Elias's commander, whom she knew he'd die to save. Kazarov's voice slithered through the room. "When he arrives, you'll tell him, one lives, one dies. Or you both perish. Let's see how much your love can withstand." Down in the tunnels, Elias emerged from the shadows beneath the fortress, blood dried on his sleeve, eyes blazing with fury and hope. He could feel it. Layla was close. He didn't know what trap awaited him, but nothing would stop him now. Elias slipped through the fortress like a ghost, dispatching guards with silent precision. Every corner, every shadow was a risk, but every step closer to her sharpened his focus. He knew how Kazarov operated, ruthless, theatrical, manipulative. He wouldn't just imprison Layla, he'd use her. Then he heard it. A voice, muffled behind a steel door. His name. Layla. He pushed into the hallway, heart pounding. As he reached for the lock, the door opened from the inside. And there she was. But not how he expected. Layla stood tall, a knife in her hand, her bindings cut. Her eyes widened at the sight of him, raw emotion flooding her features. Love, fear, relief. "Elias, no? It's a trap. Too late. Steel shutters slammed down behind him. Gas hissed from vents. He shoved Layla behind him, yanked his shirt over her face, and fired at the cameras. A voice echoed from above. Kazarov. Welcome, soldier. Hero. Fool. You made it further than most. But you brought no army, no backup. Just a heart and a weakness. On the screen above, the two chambers flickered into view. Elias's breath caught. Commander Roth and Layla's brother, both restrained. Kazarov continued. She knows the rules. One survives. One dies. And she decides. Not you. Layla turned to Elias, trembling. I didn't know about this until today. He's forcing me. Elias touched her face gently, cutting through the panic. Then we changed the rules. That's when Layla whispered. There's a third chamber. Elias blinked. What? I found it yesterday. It's hidden. Kazarov thinks I don't know. But it's his insurance policy, and it holds something, someone, he never wanted us to see. Elias's eyes narrowed. Who? Layla hesitated, then dropped the bombshell. Your brother. He's alive. Time stopped. Elias staggered back. That's impossible. He died 3 years ago. Layla shook her head. Kazarov lied. He's been using him. Controlling him. They wiped his memory. Before Elias could respond, the screen flickered. Kazarov's face twisted in amusement. Oh good. You told him. Layla leaned in close, pressing something into Elias's hand. A keycard. There's still time. But we have to split up. He grabbed her hand, holding it tight. I just got you back. She kissed him hard, desperate, fierce. Then trust me. Like I trust you. And with that, they ran in opposite directions, each racing against time, against fate, against a war bigger than them both. Elias sprinted down the dimly lit corridor, guided only by Layla's whispered directions, and the keycard clutched in his hand. His mind raced faster than his feet. His brother alive? Every memory of the funeral, the folded flag, the haunting silence from command, it all shattered like glass. If Kazarov had lied about that, what else had he twisted? He reached the terminal. A retinal scanner blinked to life. No time for subtlety, he growled, jamming the card into the override port and yanking wires with surgical precision. The door slid open with a mechanical groan. And there he was. Alex, his brother, strapped to a chair, IVs in his arms, eyes vacant but breathing. Alive. Elias dropped to his knees, voice shaking. Alex, it's me. It's Elias. No response. But something flickered in Alex's eyes. Recognition? Confusion? Suddenly, alarms blared. Kazarov's voice echoed through the speakers. Bravo, hero. You found him. But I wonder what happens when he remembers who turned him into a weapon. Elias froze. What? A screen blinked on, showing footage, grainy, distorted. Elias, years ago, delivering Alex to an extraction team. A team with Kazarov's insignia. No, that's not possible, Elias whispered. I handed him over to NATO intelligence. They said it was for debriefing. Kazarov's laugh was venom. They were mine. You fed him to me, Elias. And I made him everything you fear. Back in the control room, Layla had fought her way to the main console, blood on her uniform, a pistol in her hand. She was outnumbered, outgunned, but not outwitted. She grabbed the intercom and spoke with fire in her voice. Elias, listen to me. That footage is a lie. He's trying to break you. You did what you thought was right. And we can still bring your brother back. In the chamber, Elias stared into Alex's hollow gaze, then reached into his vest and pulled out something small. A compass. Rusted. Scarred. He pressed it into Alex's hand. Remember this? Dad gave it to us before the border mission. You kept it when I broke mine. You said, as long as it points north, we'll find our way home. Alex blinked. Then, his fingers curled around the compass. Elias's heart leapt. That's it, come on. But Alex's voice was flat, mechanical. Objective override. Terminate, Elias. He lunged. Elias barely dodged the first strike. Alex was fast, unnaturally fast. Years of conditioning, reprogramming, and rage sculpted into a weapon. Elias blocked a kick, caught a punch, but he was on the defensive. The brother he'd sworn to protect was trying to kill him. Alex, it's me, Elias shouted, backing into the chamber wall. Fight it. This isn't you. Alex didn't hesitate. He moved with robotic precision, eyes devoid of warmth. Each blow landed harder, forcing Elias to his knees. You're not my brother, Alex said, voice cold, distorted by the implants in his neck. Elias spat blood, heart pounding. Then why didn't you kill me already? That gave Alex pause. Just a flicker. But enough. Elias used the hesitation to slide his boot under a loose wire near the chair, one he'd sliced during the initial entry, and kicked it hard. Sparks flew. The lights flickered. Alex staggered. Layla's voice cracked through the intercom again, urgency in every syllable. I've found the core. Kazrov's wired the entire fortress to blow. 10 minutes, Elias. Get out now. But Elias wasn't leaving without his brother. He grabbed Alex, forced him against the wall, staring into his glassy eyes. You're stronger than this. I know you. I raised you. You were terrified of thunder when we were kids, remember? I held your hand through every storm. Alex's body trembled. I don't remember, he whispered. But his grip faltered. That's okay, Elias said, softer now. Then I'll remind you. Every damn day. And then, Alex's hand unclenched. The compass dropped. His breath hitched. And for the first time, tears welled in his eyes. Eli. But the moment shattered with an explosion nearby. The floor rocked beneath them. Layla, bleeding and limping, had bypassed Kazrov's lockdown and sprinted into the chamber just as debris rained from the ceiling. She saw them, Elias cradling Alex, smoke swirling, sirens wailing. She ran to them. We've got seconds. The main reactor's critical. We have to. But Kazrov wasn't finished. Overhead, a final camera activated, and his voice growled through the speakers. If I die, I'm taking all of you with me. Then, the countdown began. 0:59:0:58. Elias looked at Layla, then Alex, and made a decision. Get him out. Both of you. I'll stop the blast manually. Layla screamed, and oh. But he was already moving, toward the heart of the fortress, where everything began and where it might all end. Elias raced through the collapsing corridors, alarms wailing like banshees. Flames licked the walls, smoke seared his lungs, but he pressed on, toward the reactor core, where Kazrov's twisted legacy would ignite unless he stopped it. Come back to me, Layla's voice echoed in his mind again, but this time it wasn't a promise. It was a farewell. He reached the core room. A cathedral of death, glowing rods, melting steel, chaos. The countdown blared. 0:34:0:33. At the center, Kazrov stood with a detonator clutched in his bleeding hand, his uniform half-burned, madness gleaming in his eyes. Well done, Elias, he coughed. You proved love makes heroes. And fools. Elias didn't hesitate. He tackled Kazrov, the detonator flying from his grip, skidding across the floor. They fought in the heart of fire. Flesh against fury. Metal groaned as the structure began to give. But Elias was stronger. Not from rage, but from something Kazrov had never understood. Hope. He pinned Kazrov, took a breath, and jammed the override cable into the panel. The reactor pulsed, bright, unstable. The countdown paused at 0:12. But it wasn't over. Kazrov grinned through broken teeth. You stopped the timer. But not the failsafe. Then, click. A second detonation sequence began. This one had no manual override. 0:45. Elias stared at the screen. No time to disable it. Not alone. But then he heard it. Footsteps. From the smoke emerged a figure in full tactical gear. Lean, precise, and unmistakably familiar. The figure removed their helmet. Layla. She crossed the room, fire reflecting in her eyes. You didn't think I'd let you die alone, did you? Elias grabbed her hand, still stunned. How did you? I rewired the lockdown. Borrowed some of Kazrov's toys. And guess what? He built his own backdoor into the failsafe, because even tyrants fear losing control. They worked side by side, wires flying, sparks showering them. Elias looked at her, amazed. You're incredible. Layla grinned. You're not so bad for a guy who fights wars for fun. And then, they hit the final key. Failsafe disarmed. Reactor shut down initiated. Silence. Then a long, deep sigh from the facility. Like the entire fortress had exhaled. They did it. But as they turned to leave, they found Kazrov gone. A trail of blood led into the shadows. The corridor groaned behind them, chunks of concrete collapsing from the ceiling. Elias and Layla moved fast, dragging Alex between them. The fortress was dying, even with the failsafe disarmed. Too much damage, too much rage soaked into its bones. But Kazrov wasn't finished. A shot rang out. Elias spun, pulling Layla down just in time. The bullet ricocheted off the wall. From the smoke, Khazrov emerged, limping, bloodied, pistol shaking in his hand. "You think you've won?" he rasped. "This war doesn't end with a kiss and a hero's farewell. It ends with truth." He raised the gun toward Layla. Bang! A shot echoed through the hall. Khazrov blinked, once, twice, and dropped his weapon. Alex stood behind him, shaking, holding a pistol in both hands. Tears streaked his face. "Don't touch them," he whispered. Khazrov fell to his knees, then onto the cold floor, dead. The last ghost of the fortress silenced. They didn't speak. There was nothing left to say. The three of them emerged from the underground ruin just as the sun broke through the smoke, bleeding gold across the hills. The war still raged elsewhere, but here, in this moment, peace had returned. Elias stood in the light, looking at Layla and Alex. And for the first time in years he smiled. 6 months later, a quiet village on the coast. Children laugh in the distance. The sea hums with life. Elias repairs boats by day. Alex, still recovering, teaches local kids how to draw maps. And Layla? She runs the clinic, healing, smiling, alive. On a clear morning, Elias kneels in the sand, pulls out the battered compass, and places it in Layla's palm. "It finally brought me home." She closes his hand over hers, tears glimmering. "You brought yourself home. I just waited at the shore." They kiss, not like warriors, not like survivors, but like people who earned peace in a world that almost forgot what love could do.